If anyone could carry the composer's torch, it's Uematsu's drinking buddy. I mean, it's more melodic than Doom, but it's pretty cool, huh? Hi. Question. What if the epic orchestral music from Final Fantasy XIV was made to be as blisteringly loud and raw as music from Doom Eternal? Well, now there's an answer, because I, Geoffrey Day, have made something so ostentatious that upon hearing the song in-game, your adventurer would immediately acquire a new, very familiar-looking job. The timestamp to the final product is below, and conveniently placed next to the timestamp to watch the rest of the video too, so just saying, no pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession to make. I have played many a Final Fantasy, but 14 is not one of them. So while I love the music I've heard online, I wasn't sure how to narrow it down for this project. Luckily for me, I was working with an expert this whole time. Kina! Not only did she draw the artwork for this video, but she provided me some incredibly helpful context into the FF14 community that I was lacking. Even further, she put together the music video portion of this video. So if you plan on subscribing, don't subscribe to me, go follow Kina and use the links in the description because she made this cover possible. At the time of this video, people are leaving World of Warcraft for FF14 so quickly that the Square Enix servers couldn't handle the volume at one point, which is wild to think about. And just want to double check, this is the composer for Final Fantasy XIV? Okay. Well, I think we need to learn more about this character, don't you? Let's get our butts on the internet. As I am quickly discovering, the massively multiplayer land of Eorzea contains adventures in troves, adventures which need their own scores. Considering that the game's servers have been running since 2013 with development continuing to this day, that's a lot of music. I figure a composer able to take on so much content must be like a real-life superhero. And if anyone's gonna do it, it's Masayoshi Soken. Soken was born in Mexico, believe it or not, but he grew up in Tokyo. He started his career by applying to a little game company known as Konami, doing sound design. You know, I wonder if he knows the Castlevania composers. That was my last video. In Soken's own words, he used to go out drinking with Uematsu like every night in the early days. So if anyone could carry the composer's torch, it's Uematsu's drinking buddy. I've done a couple other Final Fantasy / Doom covers, and when I compare Soken's music to Uematsu's, I found Soken's work has a riffing feel to it, much more akin to rock than clearly classical-inspired works of the previous Final Fantasy installments. And from what I've read, Soken said his favorite bands are Rage Against the Machine and Pennywise, which are two 90s punk-era bands. It all kinda adds up, since Soken lived his teens and 20s during the late 80s and through the 90s, as opposed to Uematsu, who was a 70s and early 80s kid. For even more contrast, Mick Gordon was a late 90s and 2000s kid, so rock, metal, and electronic music had evolved even further by then. I think those kind of things rub off on composers, no matter how hard they try to avoid it. Also wanna say, Soken is, hilarious. The guy knows how to work a crowd and have a good time. Like, he'll learn about FF14 memes and work them right into the stage shows at the conferences, zero hesitation. What an absolute boss. I would pay $1 million to have a slice of the confidence that that guy has. And if you haven't seen the videos, I added links in the description. They are amazing. Okay, let's jump over to Doom Eternal music for a second. After doing both Dancing Mad and One Winged Angel, I've learned that combining Final Fantasy with Doom-style music yields a sort of in-between heavy but melodic electronic hybrid genre that wouldn't fit in a Doom game, but is the textbook definition of Argent metal. Whatever happens with this cover, I want the final product to get me pumped up. Let's go make that happen. Well, it took some finagling and tempo warping, but I arranged a collection of catchy battle themes in chronological order. I figure we could just go through all the expansions. So it starts with Torn from the Heavens from A Realm Reborn, then into Revenge Twofold, that boss battle theme from Heavensward. Next, we're gonna do Triumph from Stormblood, then we're going into Shadowbringers with a very slowed down version of High Treason for a few measures. And then still on Shadowbringers, we're gonna wrap it all up with Insatiable. I actually really like this one. Feeling good too, because I'm pretty sure nobody's actually done a medley like this, but, oh no, Husky by the Geek already did one. It has like 40 people in it, and it's like, it's really good. Sadly, I'm just one guy, so Whatever, we'll figure something out. I've been getting really into tuning my kicks and snare drums lately, so this is no exception. I'm using a special kick made from a synth and a real drum layered together, which is for the accented hits. That synth part is tuned somewhere around C? Same goes for my snare, but it was easier because Superior Drummer lets me tune it with this little slider. And then move the slider. Well, now we're in business. All right, I just laid down some guitars for the intro. Haha, got you! That's not a guitar, that's another synthesizer. But yeah, I did do real guitars too, like in this chorus part. Since we have a bunch of choirs singing melodies, I think it would make sense to make them all be played by a synth. Kinda like I did with Bloodborne, which worked really well. Since everything else is orchestral though, I'm just gonna replace the whole rhythm section with made up, brand new guitar riffs, some groovy stuff that fits really nice with the drums. Ladies and gentlemen, I was experimenting this week and I wanted to nail down that filthy bass tone from Mastermind in Doom 2016, and I got pretty close, I think. I started with a synthesizer playing a sine wave sub and added some noise. I put that as is through a tube distortion, and I used some hardware for this. After that, I slapped on the Doom Compressor VST in multiband mode, which I actually can't show you yet because it doesn't have a UI, but I assure you, it's coming soon and it sounds really, really filthy. Next, I reached into my collection of slappy kick drums and picked one I like. And then from there, it's just EQing and mixing everything together, and I added some extra components just to fill in missing frequencies, but you don't have to do that. I mean, it's more melodic than Doom, but it's pretty cool, huh? There's some stuff going on in Revenge Twofold where the choirs are singing the lyrics and then there's some chanting, but we don't really have any of that stuff because we replaced it all with a synth. So, I don't know, let's add some chanting back in. We can get some bonus masculinity in this thing. As you can see here, I decided to add some big tom drum hits, they're less industrial, but they feel right at home in a Final Fantasy cover because they create some nice transitions. Well, dang, now I'm in a drumming mood. Let's do some drum stuff. Let's add drum fills. Let's do a drum fill. Hey, you wanna hear what I sound like on a real drum kit? And we are done. Man, this took a while. There are always so many changing parts in a medley, there's so much to do. You know, this project felt a lot like doing One-Winged Angel, actually. Oh, and before we get into it, I added motifs from A Long Fall in a few places, but I won't play them now because I want you to see if you can find them. Are you ready to relive a chronology of battle themes in Argent Metal style? Without further ado, Geoffrey Day presents the Final Fantasy XIV Battle Medley. Enjoy! Yeah, you pumped up like I am? Can I say that because I made it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to support my work and these kinds of videos, head over to Bandcamp and grab this song in high quality for either free or at whatever price you think it's worth. Spotify, Apple Music, and everything else will be online within a few days of this video being posted, so check the pinned comment below for links. You can also follow me on social media for instant updates. On a serious note, Soken recently had a scare with cancer, which was not fun for the community as a whole to hear. Luckily, he's in full remission. Cancer absolutely sucks, and speaking as someone who has lost family to it despite months of fighting, I was glad to hear that Soken was able to recover enough to get back to a normal quality of life. I wish him the best of luck. I truly hope he has beaten cancer for good, and speaking selfishly, I'm glad he can keep making amazing Final Fantasy scores for us. What's coming up next? Well, you'll find out real soon. But until then, I've been Geoffrey Day. You've been a hero of the realm, and I hope you come by for the next video. See ya.